Okay, thank you everyone. We're going to make a start. We are running roughly 10 minutes behind schedule. We will probably make that up in the lunch break. So we've got 2 more sessions before lunch. It'd be great if everyone can stay in their seats for the session after this as well, because that means we can claw back a little bit of time. But next up, we have Fabrice Beaulieu.
Good enough.
No. I say I'm going to get one name right today. We even practiced this backstage, and you said I got it perfect.
Back then.
That was then. It's the pressure of being on stage. Fabrice, as I'll call him, is the Chief Marketing, Sustainability and Corporate Affairs Officer at Reckitt. Now, if you haven't heard of Reckitt, you probably certainly know the products that they produce. Fabrice spearheads the global leadership team driving Reckitt's ambition to be a pioneer in sustainability and address changing consumer expectations around the responsibility of businesses to the climate. Now, as we said, many people in this room and watching around the world may not be overly familiar with Reckitt, but they definitely heard of some of your brands. So why don't you explain to us who Reckitt are?
Yeah, with pleasure. It's actually quite likely that most of you in the room and online have a Reckitt product at home, whether it's under your kitchen sink or in your bedroom cabinet. We're a British company listed on the London Stock Exchange, and we are multinational operating in consumer goods, mostly in hygiene and consumer health categories. To give you an idea of the scale, we sell 20 million products every day, and our largest brands are Dettol, Airwick, Finish, Durex, Nurofen, Strepsils, to quote but a few. So as a company, what we want to do, the motto, if you will, is to create a cleaner and healthier world, which means very concretely we want to improve hygiene and health for the people we serve across countries. And every one of our brands tries to contribute to that in their own way, and therefore sustainability through our brands and our business align quite naturally.
Okay, so that's the marketing element of your role covered, but you wear many hats, and one of them is also about sustainability. So explain to us, selling 20 million products a day, that's the figure you said, yeah? That's unfathomable. How are you embedding sustainability into everything that you do at Reckitt?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we use brands a lot. And what we do is that we ask every brand team to select one sustainable development goal. One brand, one SDG. And the teams use usually the science in our products lens to make that selection. I'll give you one example. Finish selected the SDG 6, water and sanitation. So Finish is a dishwashing cleaning brand. What does it have to do with water? Well, water stress affects roughly 2 billion people today already. That number is only going to go up. And the process of cleaning the dishes can be water efficient or very water wasteful. You have a dishwasher, Scott?
Not on me, but yes, I do. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you? Who in the room has a dishwasher as well? Okay, so a majority. Well, every time you use it for one load of dirty dishes, it's going to use 10 liters of water. Oh, I don't know if that sounds little or big to you, but if you did the same thing, exactly the same thing by hand, it would require 100 liters of water. And I know it's a bit counterintuitive because the machine is this box which looks fairly large and the tap looks very small, but in the machine it's always the same water which gets used, reused, cleaned, filtered. So hence the difference. And what most people do, and maybe you've done that as well, is they pre-rinse the dishes. They give them a little bit of a clean before placing them in the dishwasher. Are you a pre-rinser, Scott?
I feel like I've got hidden cameras at home. I am a pre-rinser. And not only that, I'll do it immediately when they're dirty to try and save water. So, there's no point pre-rinsing something if it's gone hard.
All right,
we can talk about washing up all day.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that, all right. Yeah. So who else, like Scott, pre-rinses sometimes? Ooh, all right. when you do that, you actually use, on average, we measured it in the UK, 60 liters of water. Yeah? So machine only 10, by hand 100, a bit above 60. So it's what people do for a reason. Sometimes stains dry up, just like for you, and you have to work the plates a little bit. But when they uncovered these facts and insights, actually our teams decided they wanted to do something about it and pre-rinse, save a lot of water in the process. They reinvented the product first, moved to a better technology, one that works harder on all these dried up stains. It's also a greener chemistry, uses less active ingredients. And they started to tell the facts that I've just given you to hundreds of millions of people across the world, the facts of this daily behavior that all of us can change if we want to, if we use the right product, and the facts around water scarcity and how many beautiful bodies of water are going waterless, whether it's deserts growing in Italy or the lakes of Turkey going dry, the Rio Bravo, the Rio Grande. So we measure the impact of these programs. We know that someone whose behavior has evolved saves roughly 20% water in the household. And we also know that when people stop rinsing, they use the dishwasher more. We don't hide that fact. On the contrary, we put it forward and we measure it. We sell more tablets. The market sells more tablets. So it's a story of better business because there is growth on the one hand and there is a precious water which is being saved every day.
I had no idea. So what you're saying is I shouldn't be pre-rinsing.
Yes.
In terms of water. Okay, good. Let's move on from washing up. What are the biggest challenges you face at Reckitt when it comes to achieving your sustainability goals?
Well, we are in consumer goods, so we exist to serve people's needs on a daily basis. And around sustainability and brands, people's expectations are shifting extremely rapidly. They want brands to become more sustainable, and in practice, it means two things. They want more sustainable product design, less carbon, less plastic, greener chemistry. And they expect brands to do something more than selling their products. They expect brands to participate in making society or environment better. They want programs of impact. So if you don't meet these expectations, as a brand, you are at risk of becoming obsolete, stop connecting with your consumers. And that's very much top of mind for us.
So how do you go about that? How do you go about messaging those sustainability credentials to your customers? How do you do that?
Well, through innovations and communication. So if people want more sustainable products, we have to re-engineer them. It's the Finnish example I gave. That's innovation. If brands expect you to step up as a brand and be helpful in one shape or form, they also accept that these programs of positive impact can become core to your communication. So the Finnish example I gave is a story of how we intervene with partners like WWF or National Geographic in certain places of the world which are going waterless. We tell the story of these places becoming dry, and as we do that, we also give this small daily solution which revolves around our expertise, which is cleaning the dishes. So innovation, changing the product to also inspire a different behavior. Communication, innovation, these are the two major drivers of growth in consumer goods. So that's how we create value, by listening to what people want and trying to meet them where they are going.
Now, Reckitt is a company with a 200-year history, I believe. So what impact has technology and digital transformation had on your sustainability efforts? Has it made it easier?
So you can be 200 years old and digitally agile, yeah? And we are a living example of that. I'll give you a very concrete example of evolving our operation to create value and a positive impact, in this case, on carbon. So I've quoted a number of our brands. They are big brands. They advertise a lot. You'll find them on the platforms that you use, whether it's TikTok or Insta, they're on TV all the time, so they need advertising, they need commercials, they need content. And we used to shoot these commercials going on in different places all over the world, on location, as we call it. And we no longer do that. Most of our advertising is actually shot in virtual studio, where everything is digitally created, both the landscape as well as the content. So imagine that we have 3 commercials to shoot. One of them will be in a kitchen, one of them will be on a beach, and one of them will be at the top of a mountain. We're going to shoot these 3 commercials on the back of one another in the same place, in a digital studio. Because we do it like that, we're going to do it in 20% less time. It will be cheaper to do that. And it's also going to be far less carbon intensive. So we've measured that by working like that, on these activities, we'll save up to 80% carbon. So it's a great example of something that we've been doing, maybe not for 200 years, but for a very, very long time, advertising, and how we've evolved our operation through technology, in this case, digital, to work differently, make it work economically for us, and with a benefit on carbon emissions.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, but along those lines as well, when you're talking about carbon emissions, by 2030, Reckitt has an ambition to reach half of the world every year. So what does that actually mean? And that sounds like quite carbon intensive, reaching half of the world. So just explain that to us.
So we reach people, or we are planning to reach people in 3 different ways. First, the products we sell. 20 million products per day, we talked about that. That adds up to a lot in a year. Our advertising, we reach hundreds of millions of people per day through our communication. And last but not least, through our programs of social impact. So the first 2, products and advertising, it's mostly for people in our markets. The last one is the work we do with NGO partners for more vulnerable people, not yet in our markets, but who need our help. A concrete example of what we do here is around SDG 6, water and sanitation. We work with partners like water.org, who help people access safer sanitation. Some of you may know that 1 person out of 3 in the world still doesn't have access to safe sanitation, a toilet, and we want to help change that. So the work we do with water.org, for instance, is around microfinancing, help people get a small loan, which at 90%, 99% they repay, so that the family can get equipped with sanitation, which usually builds, of course, hygiene foundations, helps move towards a better health and ultimately better wealth for the family. So products, communication, programs of social impact with NGOs, the combination of it will help us reach the number you quoted, hopefully for a very positive impact.
Okay, now, despite what was said in one of our earlier sessions, sustainability is a complex issue, very complex. So what keeps you awake at night when it comes to sustainability?
Well, it's complex, and it's also a new playbook for a lot of people in companies like ours in the consumer goods space. So I guess I'm particularly vested in getting people on a journey, training them. For a marketeer to think about sustainability, or sustainability means that first you need a different mindset. It's no longer just about the moment of purchase. It's also about the supply of the product, how it was produced, and what happens after usage, the post-use, as it's called. So that's a broadening of the mindset, and there's, of course, a broadening of the skill set. So we've had to completely reinvent the way we train our teams. We use technology there a lot as well. We have a platform of knowledge which are personalized, which are gamified. They have a lot of sustainability modules. So sustainability is complex, and it's a journey of growth for the company, and hopefully a lot of individuals in that company.
Okay, I'm going to go to a question that's come in via the event app, so thank you, whoever sent that in. I don't know the name. It says, how does Reckitt collaborate with stakeholders to integrate sustainability into its growth agenda?
Yeah. In multiple ways, I'll give you two examples. Measurement. In that space, you are as good as your measurement, as is often the case. I gave the example of the water that we want to save for Finish. In that example, we work with partners to collect water bills and really look at the impact on household consumption for the people who have changed their behavior. So that's one area. Working with NGOs is absolutely fundamental. They bring a completely different expertise, a different way of looking at business and its impact. And they can be that necessary critical friend. Yeah? And both matters, critical to make us better, and friend because there is an intent to make us better. That's two examples, there are many others.
Okay, another question here. This is from me, by the way. So what are you most proud of when it comes to driving sustainable growth at Reckitt? What have you personally been involved in that makes you the most proud?
Well, I guess when someone walks up to me and says, oh, by the way, I heard this about pre-rinsing and I've stopped doing that. I'm not putting any pressure on you, Scott, here. Nope. Not at all, but it would be nice if you could commit as well. But when someone seriously now walks up to us and say, okay, I've heard that and I do that differently, that's a good feeling. But maybe, on a larger scale, I'm super happy about the way we are constantly striving to align sustainability ambitions and business objectives down to the brand levels, to see all the brand teams thinking like that and energized by this combination, by solving what sometimes is thought of as a trade-off between business and sustainability. So this relentlessness about creating value for our business and through our business, I guess that gives me a really good feel about the company and our work.
Because sustainability is good for business, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is managing risk. It is securing the resilience of a company. I'm talking about the company level. It is also embracing shift in people expectation, and if you embrace them well and serve them with better way to deliver what they need and take them on the journey, there is a value to be created.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience? We do. Could we get the microphone out, please? If you can just keep your hand up, please, we'll get the microphone out to you. When it arrives, if you can just tell us your name and where you're from, please, that would be a big help. Just there, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Navin. I'm from Polis Analysis. We are a political consultancy organization that offer political lobbying and advice for startups and SMEs that are struggling to navigate their industry barriers. Firstly, I want to say thank you for your talk and presentation. It was really insightful, really engaging, and I'll definitely be changing my pre-rinsing ways. And so what I wanted to ask was, with a company as large as Reckitt, with 200 years of history and 20 million sales a day, how much stake and how much action do you have with governments and industry policymakers in terms of influencing regulations that can affect and control how companies operate under sustainability, and basically trying to enforce some legislation to make sustainability more operative and standardized?
Well, thank you. It's a great question. You talked about stakeholders, and you're talking about stakeholders as well. The way business is evolving is really with the realization that there are multiple stakeholders to serve. When it comes to government and policy, there is actually a lot business can do. We, for instance, believe in the convening power that we have, so we can bring together people who would not necessarily be connected otherwise, and create meaningful conversation and ultimately impact, sometimes in policy, sometimes differently. A powerful platform to do that, for instance, is COP. In the next one, for instance, we hope to make healthcare really core to the climate conversation. Planetary health also impacts human health.
Okay, thank you. That's all we've got time for. I'm sure Fabrice will be more than happy to answer your questions if you catch him in the networking area or during lunch. We do have to move on, so thank you so much, Fabrice. Thank you.
Thank you.